Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
It seems so far to go. It took so long to get here. Now I'm saying things I swore I'd never say, and I'm afraid again. I thought I had it in me. I used to be so sure that I was stronger than ever. Oh, and here I am blaming her. Oh, and if I fall, I will find a way back to my hands. I'm the only one who can help me find my feet again. Sweet little fighter, sweet little scar, sweet little fire in my heart. It seems so easy now. Everything I dreamed about when I was a child. It looks like a good place here, so I think I'll stay for a while. And if I fall, I will find a way back to my hands. I'm the only one who can help me find my feet again. You came here screaming and never stopped to listen to your one and only prayer. A place for you somewhere. Sweet little fighter, sweet little scar, sweet little fire in my heart.
What's up, everybody? I have Tara MacLellan here with me today. Singer, songwriter, playwright, author, mother. No time to do anything, but she took time out of her day to spend some time with us and talk about everything she has going on. Welcome to the show, Tara.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So, I mean, I just listed some things off. What else do you do for fun?
For fun. Oh, well, let's see. I travel a lot, obviously, and I love to paint. I'm also a Zen student. That's something that I love to meditate. I love to run. I love to hike through the forest, especially in BC here. It's so beautiful, and I live really close to some epic trails. So yeah, that's what I get up to most of the time.
Well, okay. So the things I listed off and then the things you just listed off, where do you have time to do any of this?
Honestly, I guess I'm just really good at time management.
I would say so.
Yeah, I've got 3 daughters, and I get to do my art for a living, so I'm kind of in charge of my time. So I just make sure that I build in self-care. It's probably the most important part of the whole thing.
Well, I'm glad that you take care of yourself, because what we're going to talk about today, and what I started to read, your memoir, "Song of the Sparrow," which is coming out soon, which will be out probably when this episode airs. But why don't you give us a little deep dive into what made you sit down and finally write down everything about your life to share with everyone?
Right. Well, it started with an essay. I just felt really compelled to write this piece about being a woman and in the music business and body image. And it just kind of came out. It wasn't a long essay, but it felt like something I wanted to share. My bandmate, Davnet Doyle, really encouraged me to share it. It was very raw. And we put it up on Facebook, and then it went viral and got published in some magazines. And a lit agent saw it, Carolyn Ford from Transatlantic, and she and I connected. And she said, "I think you should write a book." And I thought that was such a great encouragement, and I felt that that was a great idea. I had just gone through a divorce from my husband of 16 years, and even though it was an amicable situation, it was still really hard, and I just felt like the timing was perfect for me to kind of open up my heart, since my heart was already just really raw. And then my lit agent shopped my few chapters that I'd written, and HarperCollins picked it up, and it kind of happened organically and beautifully. And then the book just kind of fell out of me, so it was great.
Well, I mean, going through the things you were going through, it's a cathartic, thing to sit down and write about your feelings, and feelings you've probably had for a very long time, and things that you've been dealing with as a small child to now. I'm not going to throw your age out there for anyone. You're still
you're welcome
beautiful
to.
young woman. And I think when you sit down to do that, it also helps you kind of tackle the issues maybe that you didn't know you had been dealing with in your life, but you were, and this kind of made it a little bit easier once you put pen to paper. It's just like writing a song, like the songs that you write. It's catharsis, right? To get out those feelings and to share them with the world. This way you get to do it through song, because the album that's going along with this, Sparrow, it kind of ties into it, but it gives you this whole new story where an album is only 40 minutes of a story, right? Most of the times. So now
Yes.
you get it all out.
Yes, exactly. It was an incredible excavation of my inner world. It was terrifying and beautiful, and yes, it was kind of like, it was like writing a song, but writing a song for 3 years straight. And it definitely, exactly what you said. It was a magnifying glass of some of the things that I'd seen. And of course, when you're delving so deeply into memories, um, things come up that you've forgotten, and then you're like, oh, that's why I'm like that. And yeah, just it was great. I found a lot of compassion for myself and for my family, and for the people in my life, and for the world in general, just looking at it from that perspective. And yeah, it was a very different process writing prose than writing a song, but it was still like, when I write a song, I tend to sort of, I don't know, descend into this place between worlds, kind of. It's not like anything special, but more like a little bit of a trance. And I would do that while I was writing this book. I would put on my favorite music, and I would just go into this space, and then the book would just kind of write itself.
Now, when you sat down and you felt you were at the finish line with the book, was it hard for you to go back and possibly look at the things that were there for you to realize, the memories that you forgot? And was it hard to edit out certain parts that you felt needed to stay in, or things that, now that the book is done and it's getting ready to start to ship, are there things that maybe you said, maybe I didn't want to share that, but it's too late now?
Yeah, like the whole book.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to share this at all. I changed my mind. Everybody stop. Yeah, that's a really great question, because there were so many moments when I was writing it where I did I didn't second guess my first draft. You're not supposed to, right? You're just supposed to throw it all out there and see what happens. And I had an incredible editor at HarperCollins, Jennifer Lambert, and she held my hand through the whole thing. And, and we really delved into some of the darker things. Like, are these things I'm ready to tell? And sometimes while I was writing, I would find myself shaking, like my body was shaking. And that's when I knew I was on to something. So I just had to be extra brave in this. It's one thing to get up, like we talked about, and do something for 3 minutes and then tell a funny little story and we can laugh it off. Like the roller coaster is much, it's much quicker. You kind of get off the ride faster. This is a deeper ride. And it goes into some extraordinarily dark territory, as you know. And so but I always bring you out. And so I would bring myself out of those places in my mind, and I would bring the reader out with me. And my hope is that it kind of patterns, I don't know, a way of navigating life where no matter how dark it gets, no matter how much you hit the bottom, you can still rise. And that's really what Song of the Sparrow is about. It's about the human condition and the way that that we are really immutable beings that can survive an incredible amount of things and still find grace and still find love for life and still find joy. So that's, even though it's a scary ride, I'm telling you, you'll be laughing and hopefully, feel relieved at the end that it's over.
Well, listen, I told you, I started reading it. It's one of those things where when you start reading it and you don't want to put something down because you either want to get out of that dark place with you because you don't know when it's coming, or if it's you want to get on to the next thing, and knowing that you're still here is awesome.
Yeah.
And having the voice on the other side here to talk about and discuss those things. You also did something pretty special with this, is to pair it with your album Sparrow, taking on some songs that you wrote earlier in your career and throughout your career that tied into the experiences you had in your book, so people can, that listen to you and have been a fan of you for as long as you've been doing music, since the early to mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Can now I guess sometimes I feel when someone explains a song, right, I think it loses a little meaning because sometimes it means something more to us.
Agreed.
But
Yeah.
You opening up and tying the songs to the experiences, I mean, it's a pretty awesome collaborative thing that you've done here, and unique. It's a very unique thing, because I did my research and I try to find albums and books that go together, and there's not many out there. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. It just seemed like the natural thing to do, to give people a one-stop shop for some of those songs. And I really wanted to revisit them. I mean, that song, Let Her Feel the Rain, which is going to be my single that comes out with the book. I wrote that when I was 19, and it was it was the first song I ever recorded professionally. It was a song that I was singing when I got discovered on the ferry by Network Records and Sony Music Publishing. And that song opened a lot of doors for me. It's a very young song. Lyrically, it's very young. It's almost like there's almost cringy moments where I'm like, oh God, like, sad girl in the rain in BC. It's just a thing. It's so cliche. But I also really love the song, and I wanted to share, how I wrote it and how it came out of me, and what it opened for me in my life as a result of creating it. And so, yeah, revisiting it was really sweet. And I learned a lot about myself at that age. And, I was still blossoming as a poet and songwriter. And I'm so grateful that Network and Sony saw in me from that song that I had potential. And they invested years. I've been with Sony for 27 years, Sony Music Publishing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it all starts, and this is, goes back to a lot of things that we talk about here. It starts with a song, right? It starts with a song. And I've always had this thing where anyone who is a true artist, anyone can write one good song, but it takes talent to continue that, right? There's so many things where, especially in today's day and age, we're in the singles game, right? Like people just start throwing out, here's a single I did, and you love the song, and then there's nothing else that you can hear from them because it's
Right.
just that one song. And then, a year later, here I put out another single, and you're like, wow, this isn't really that good. And like you wait another 6 months, and it's like, okay, so anyone with talent can write one good song, but it takes true talent to continue that throughout the years and continue creating good music.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to exist without creating music. There have definitely been dry spells in my life where music hasn't been a big part of it. Like when I had young children, I just didn't have the time or energy. But thank you for saying that. I try to keep bringing it out of me, and life serves up all kinds of juicy situations to write about. So, I'm just going to keep on doing it. And I watched, watching Bonnie Raitt take the Grammy home. She's been doing this forever, her whole life, and it's just so inspiring to me that there was always this story, as you read in the book. When I was with the major labels, that you had to be this young pop princess to be relevant, and that you had sort of this time limit on it. And the thing that I'm learning is that we can make music until we die. We can keep writing, and we can keep getting better and delving deeper, and and learning how to express ourselves even better. Like it's just a wonderful vocation.
Yeah, as long as you're able to.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe vocation isn't the right word. It's more of a calling, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you said something that's awesome, and I talk about this with artists all the time. You mentioned you're discovered on a ferry on the first song you've ever wrote, and I've asked people, what's the first song you ever wrote, and if they remember it, and they're like, I was 13, and it's probably garbage. I'm like, if you still have it, you should go back and record it now when you're in your 30s, because it could be something completely different, and it could be probably what you thought it would be, now, because you have all this time underneath your belt, and now you can work with it, but it doesn't mean it was a bad song, right? You could have just, all right, that was my first go at it. But now if you look back, and it's okay to go back and look at those things, and oh my God, look at what a child I was, writing about heartache at 13 years old, that when you don't even really know what it is. But it could be something magical later on in life to take that and be like, wow, and remember it and redo it and feel different about it.
Yeah, that's really great advice to give songwriters. I mean, really, the first song I wrote was 13, and it was a heartbreak song. But I have revisited it, and it's just so bad. But it's sweet, right? Like, this is the thing. You're right. These are the sketches, that help us learn how to really draw and really paint. Hopefully, some masterpieces to come. But they are, in a way, these young songs that we write they're so precious. They're the seeds.
Yeah. Now, growing up and going back to those times, as a child, what was it about music, or how did music take a part of your life? I tell a story all the time. The first time I heard the Beach Boys at 6 years old, my life changed forever. And
Pet Sounds?
No, I was Little Surfer. It was on the radio. CBS 101 FM here in New York, and it was a sound that I'd never heard before, besides the cartoon theme songs that I grew up with. And it was something, the harmonies, the just slow melodic, from 6 years old, that was it. I was all in on music from that moment. And what was it for you as a child that made it a moment for you? Did you grow up with music? What was it about that?
Absolutely. I grew up. I love that story, by the way. That's awesome. The Beach Boys are incredible. And I could just see like a little 6-year-old boy listening to the Beach Boys and going, what is happening? I grew up off grid on Prince Edward Island. So in a little cabin in the woods. And so the sound of the world was very musical, like the birds and the wind and the trees, and it was all this sonic landscape. And my father was a singer-songwriter and a guitar player. And so there was always music happening all the time. And so my mom said that I sang before I spoke. so I guess it was just in me, and it's just continued to flow out from there on. Mhm.
Was there an artist or a band that you fully attached on to as young, like I did with the Beach Boys, that I'm still, in my mid to late 40s? I said it, there it is. And I still go back, and the Beach Boys are still that special to me that I
Oh
still
yeah.
hold on dearly. Was there someone as that child that you heard that still to this day carries you on?
I gotta say, the first thing that comes to mind is Stevie Nicks. I got a hold of Belladonna when I was a young girl, and I grew up with gospel music. My dad was a country gospel singer, and so we would hear Bob Dylan, Slow Train Comin', and these like amazing funk music, and gospel music was so beautiful and uplifting. But as soon as I heard Stevie Nicks, man, that changed everything for me. I thought, oh, okay, I can be this goddess. She was just this bohemian and magical goddess whose voice came from this deep source, and her vibrato and her lyrics and her attitude. And I was completely mesmerized. And I got to meet her on Lilith Fair back in the late 90s. And it was such a crazy moment for me to meet somebody who had really built the scaffolding inside of me musically. It was a really powerful moment. Yeah.
And I mean, Stevie Nicks, who better to look up to as a female performer, right? I mean, she
Right.
was that goddess. She stood there, and still to this day, watching her perform is just one of those things where you're like, all right, she still has that aura about her, right? Where
Yep.
sometimes the aura wears away on certain artists but watching her perform at the Hall of Fame induction, and just standing there and just watching her and being like, she still has
Mm.
everything. It's still Stevie Nicks. It's not,
Yep.
just some other person. And, just recently too, watching Pat Benatar, she was another one that I was like,
Mm.
are you kidding me? Like, this
Yeah.
is what I love about it. Because if you do it right, you can do it forever.
And if you do it real, you can do it forever.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what they've always done. They've always been so real, and that you can't fake that. I mean, it's just, she's the kind of woman that'll haunt you, forever. And other than her, I would just have to add that Dolly Parton was a huge influence for me, because I don't know why my grandmother let me watch the movie The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, but I was so young when I first heard "I Will Always Love You," and I write about that in the book because that song is so much bigger. It's not just a song. I mean, it's a philosophy for life. And it taught my young heart so much um about how I can move through the world. And so I consider that particular song to kind of be like my internal hymn to love.
Yeah. And I mean, what Dolly wrote, I Will Always Love You, and Jolene on the same day.
On the
Um,
same day, I
yeah.
know.
I mean, so enough. Like, that's where
I know.
I start to, when I don't want to use the word hate, but I really dislike people that can do that so easily and effortlessly.
Well, you can love me because I'm totally not capable of that. So
So growing up with that music and finding the music that you were going to like and attach yourself to, what was it, your father and him being a singer-songwriter, that brought you into playing music and writing songs? What was he kind of like, a little teacher for you, or did you go outside that? Because sometimes working with family can be hard. Or did you go outside of that?
no, when I was young, it was him, and he taught me how to play guitar, and we would always sing harmony. So the Everly Brothers, and like all these beautiful songs, Hank Williams. We would sing together. So he taught me the joy and beauty of that connection of singing and playing music with someone. And his musical partner was a man named Gene MacLellan, and they were like brothers. They toured together and made records together. And Gene wrote some really incredible songs. He wrote Snowbird, which made Anne Marie famous, and a gospel song that's, I think, the most recorded gospel song ever, called "Put Your Hand in the Hand." It was recorded by Elvis. And so these songwriters were in my my sphere. Growing up, we were in the forest with guitars, a fire, stars, and songs. And songs would just appear out of nowhere. You know, one minute there's no song, and the next minute there's a song. And that was magical. They were like wizards to me. And I caught the bug, you know, like I got that they were like, that there was some internal struggle, and then they would, you know, there was an alchemy, and suddenly there was this magical, glowing, you know, transformative thing that existed in the shape of a song. And it was mesmerizing to witness, but it was also just normal, right? So yeah, I think, and I wasn't going to be a songwriter. Like, there was no way I was going to do music for a living. This is way too unstable. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to go straight. But the more life threw things at me, the more songs just came out. And I got a lot of really great encouragement from my family, and from my friends. Like in high school, I would just go and we would skip class. Don't do that at home, kids. But we would go into the gym, and I would sing songs that I'd written to them. And, you know, then I got the Fine Arts Award in high school. And, you know, I just got a lot of encouragement. But it was my dad, Marty, who ended up actually being my stepfather. I didn't know he wasn't my dad. That was a little surprise for later in life. Spoiler alert in the book. But yeah, he was the one. He gave me the songs, and the ability to play them, and also the broken heart to pull them from.
And hearing that and having that encouragement, and there's a lot of times for people where that encouragement doesn't come and they succeed in spite of what they have going on around them. Just hearing that encouragement was there for you, I believe, is what keeps you here today still doing it. I mean, you said you caught the bug, and, you know, here you are, you know, 35 years later, still sick, right?
Yep, super sick. And it's also just, you know, something happens when I sing, you know, and when I share my songs. The world just feels right to me. And I teach my children, like, follow your heart, love who you want to love, do what you want to do, create what you're going to create. And I feel like I've been really allowed to do that in my life. I certainly had some creative woundings. I certainly had people along the way tell me that I wasn't good, or that, you know, just that I sucked, really. And those are also really valuable things too. So, you know, those are things to kick against. But yes, I would say the love I get, and the feedback I still get when I get up on stage and sing, and people say, thank you, you know, that changed me somehow. Like, that's what I'm here for. Just here to spread the love.
And hearing how you just always performed, skipping class, singing songs to people, it just seems like it came naturally, right? Like, the way I'm hearing it, there are certain people who are just born performers. They just, from the minute camera or a microphone's in front of them, they're just performers. And some people have that and some people don't. Was there any time in your life where that performance became hard to get up and do?
Yes. Yes, for sure. And, you know, I would say that what I've realized is that a singer is just what I am, right? It's not what I do. And it's what I ended up doing. But it was very, very natural. And I loved performing. And it's funny, even the word performing, it's like I would just get up and open up, and whatever happened, you know? And there was a time, though, when I was on tour, and I had been on the road, I think 18 months straight in the US mainly. And we were really exhausted. We were doing 3 performances a day. We would get up really early and do breakfast television. We would hit a radio station at lunchtime, sometimes sing on the air, sometimes sing in the lunchroom, depending on the market. And then we'd do a full show at night, and then we'd either drive or we'd get up and fly. Like, we would at a different city every day. And we were so fried from it. And I'll never forget, we got to this place, it was Little Rock, Arkansas, and none of our gear showed up. And then the venue burned down. and the promoter said, don't worry, we're going to put you in this corner of this little restaurant. and you don't really need monitors. Like, we're just going to borrow some guitars for you and you can do it. And honestly, a year before, I'd have been like, yes, absolutely. The show must go on. We're doing this. But I was so tired that I got up on stage in front of the whole crowd and I forgot all my words. My hands started shaking and I did a couple songs. I put the guitar down and I just walked out the front door. Like, I literally just broke down. And my poor manager had to fly in from, I think we were heading to Nashville, or no, Austin, Texas, and he had to fly in, and he showed up with like the thing of bubble bath. It was really funny. Like, this will help. I'm like, I think I'm a little far gone for the bubble bath, but so they basically put me in a spa for 3 days, and they said, you've got touring for 9 more months to go, and so you actually can't break down. So take these days off, and then you're back on the road. So I describe it in my book like a prize fighter, so beat up and just thrown back into the ring to take another round. But I had the bubble bath. So, I mean, right? Like, I was
Yeah,
fine.
that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
the suds and move on.
Yeah. So, there were definitely moments where I definitely hit my wall. But, when I miss it, and when I took a break from it because of having kids, gosh, I missed it so much. And I'm so grateful that I still get to do it. I mean, I'm starting a promo tour next week, and I just can't believe I get to get up, not only singing songs for people again, but also reading from the book. So it's just a whole new can of worms. Yeah, it's awesome.
And that kind of openness, what you're sharing here, what you've shared in the book, is kind of what endears, I think, people to you. It definitely does for me. Just
Thank
hearing
you.
how open and okay you are with the things that, talking about a bad time. It's hard to get people to talk about a bad time, right? And to
Hmm.
explain and have other artists that can listen to this and understand, listen, it's going to happen, because it happens to everyone.
Everyone.
And it's
Yeah.
okay when it does.
Yeah. Yeah. And when it's not okay, you have to remember that it will be okay eventually. It's, everything is temporary, and that's the thing. Like, people are so down these days. It's a really hard time to be alive, and I also would argue that maybe it's always been that way here in Earth School. And we're going to get to the other side of it. And one of the things I'm most looking forward to, and it's already starting to happen, is, and this happens with my songs to a certain degree, but I have a feeling it's going to be amplified with the book, is that people will now share their stories with me, their stories of survival, their stories of breaking down, their stories of being suicidal, their stories of abuse, and when we share these things with each other, it makes it lighter, it makes it bearable. That's the whole thing about connection, human connection. It's so important, and that's why I think in the end, yes, it was great. I got the opportunity from HarperCollins, but like, the real why did I write this book? Why did I just throw it all out there? Is because maybe it's time that we all start really talking about how we can get through this together. Because when it's bleak and when it's dark, we need to know where we can look and find the light. And I believe, there is so much love, and that there's this reservoir of love that humanity has access to, that we just need to tap into right now, and fast. And we don't have time to do anything else. And
And
that love, yeah, is going to change the world.
yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent about that. For me and how I see sometimes what people is, and the fact that you share, it does open up people, right, to share their
Yeah,
experiences with you. There's still that suffering stigma of,
yeah,
I'm the only person that feels like this, regardless of what you may have expressed. It's not what I
definitely,
feel, and
definitely, yeah.
people still hold on to that. And that's that little grain of sand. And I try to, because I deal with this stuff all myself as well. And I
Mhm.
deal with it as, there's this little grain of sand that's flowing through your body, which is your anxiety. And
Mm,
there's no telling when it's going to stop.
Mhm.
So when it stops in a certain spot is when that anxiety kicks in, right? And you
Yeah.
can never, and it's just trying to get rid of that grain of sand. And honestly, the way I feel is you just need to keep moving and be happy, because when you stop and sit and think, that's when your
Mhm.
blood flow slows down. That's when that grain of sand starts to find where it needs to attach and have that
Mm.
anxiety come in.
Yeah.
And people, a lot of times sit and wallow, and that's when it
Mhm.
all kicks in. But if you just keep moving and keep moving forward, and just getting that rush of blood going through your body, that drain of sand, that anxiety is just going to keep going around and around and around. No matter what you're doing, it could still be playing in your head, but you're going to have that opportunity. But it's as soon as you slow down that's when it starts to come in again. So you
And it
doing what
catches you.
yeah, you explained, I gave you what you are and the things that you do, and then you added a bunch on top of that. So that
Yeah.
is, you know, that's your recipe, right? That's your recipe
Yeah.
to go through it.
Exactly. And nobody has the recipe for anybody else, right? Like
No.
that's what's so amazing about us. And your strategy is amazing. Like and it worked for you, and that's so great. And yeah, anxiety is definitely a cue and a message. And for you, it's propelled you. And how beautiful. Like I love that. I absolutely love it. And you're right. Like sitting and wallowing is definitely a waste of time. I think there's something to listen to, like a message in the anxiety for sure. But you're right. Like, and that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure of in this book was that there wasn't self pity. It wasn't like, oh, poor me, these things happened. It's okay, these things happened and they happened to me, but I'm going to use them and I'm going to make them continue, like you said, to keep moving and find the joy. Like that is exactly. So yeah, there's similar, definitely, there's definitely similarities in our strategies. And yeah, I love that. Thank you for telling me that. That's really cool. I love how you described it and painted that.
Yeah, and that's, one of the things for me is this show. Honestly,
Right.
I've
Of
told
course.
people,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like, this is a selfish, selfless act. And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's selfish because I get so much out of it and it helps me, but I'm also trying to help, artists get their message out there. I'm like,
Yes.
so it is for me and for them, but for me, this is a little bit of my therapy, right?
Yes.
And hopefully therapy for others as well. And to hear you go on about how you deal with things when it comes to your music and the songs you've written over the years and released. A question I like to ask is, if no one ever heard your music,
Hmm.
what song or a couple songs would you play for them that you would say best described you as an artist?
Ooh, what? Oh, I love that. Gosh. Okay. Of course, we're always kind of into our new songs
Yes.
more than anything. So I would say Sparrow, which is my last single. It's kind of my sort of thesis for the book and life. Kind of the when I drilled it down, that song is it's like the title track for the book. So I would say that song. And and then there's a song called "Lay Here in the Dark," which is also on the new album. That song is really about being with that grain of sand, and helping it move that you described. And then I would, if I was going to pick an old song, gosh, that's oh gosh, it's so hard. I've written so many songs. I didn't realize it
Yes.
till I saw my Spotify. Um, wow, there's a lot of music here. Um, oh gosh, I don't know. Do you have any that you like of mine?
I, I'm not going to throw it out there because as I spoke with your publicist Beth, I started from the very first song I could find for you, and I've listened to every single one that's
Whoa,
released, and your new album too. So I've dove head first, and I'm kind of dizzy now.
you're
So
dizzy. You're dizzy with Tara. Okay.
yeah,
Well, thank you for doing your research so completely. Um, I love that. Uh, you know, it's so hard to pick songs from my past. There's a song called "That's Me," which is also on my new album. It's a reimagined version of the song. And when you say like, if you want people to get to know me, I would say That's Me would be the song. Because I wrote that was one of my earlier writes, and it still applies. It still applies. The lyrics still apply to me. I have not changed at the essence of who I am.
That's
And
awesome.
so it's almost cringy and embarrassing to sing that song again and realize that there's still some patterns I have yet to overcome. I'm still on a bit of a carousel in some ways, but I love the reimagined version is much more mature, and we lowered the key, and yeah, it's really in my heart. So I would say I'd say those three songs. So they're all in the new album.
Yeah, it is definitely more mature than the original release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was something
that.
we set out to do. We set out to do that in the recording with Daniel Ledwell, which he's an amazing producer. And we had so much fun. We hung out for a month down by a lake in his studio and just found the sound that we wanted. We decided it would be a bit lush. I'm really into this sort of Icelandic neoclassical music right now, and we both really trip on that music at the moment. So we just sort of used a little bit of that lushness and beauty, and then the lake really informed it. And I'm really happy with the new album. And gosh, I can't believe that it's coming out in a couple weeks.
I love that you're into that neoclassical Icelandic music. I have one of my favorite artists that's exactly what it is. So
is it Olafur?
Yes.
Yes. Arnold? Yeah.
Yeah. It is the most I've said his name so many times on this because I don't think people truly understand what someone can do composing a piece of music, especially when it goes back that he was a black metal drummer. That's where he started. I did not know this.
Yes,
wow. He was a heavy black metal drummer, and now he composes these beautiful orchestrated songs that I turn it on and I'll sit there and I just weep. I cry. Yeah. That's what it does.
Yes, same, absolutely. It gets right into my heart, and I'm also I'm a fan of sort of Jonesy as well. Used to be Sigur Rós. That music is so spectacular, and he also does so many collaborations.
Oh yeah.
So my dream would be to get to a point where I could communicate with him, and I have reached out to try to collaborate, but he's in LA doing a lot of soundtrack work at the moment. So I'm just going to keep trying though. And when I do, I'm going to call you and tell you how amazing it is.
Yeah, I'm all in. I mean, there's so much, and he opened up the door for so many things for me too. Like I found Jonas Johansson too, who creates these
beautiful,
absolutely beautiful. And it's like that's the kind of stuff where me growing up as a punk rock kid, that in my years of music, and now it's just a wide array. I've listened to every single thing out there because it's so amazing. But to be able to sit down and show someone something that people are like, you listen to this? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, just sit here with me give me 15 minutes of your time. Mm-hmm. And if you're not in 15 minutes, you're never going to be, but I guarantee you within 4, you're in. Like this is a whole new phase of my life.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It honestly, it is such a powerful medium. Like the way that he mutes the piano, he's playing like this powerful melody, but it's done so softly. And I don't know, he has like a laser-like way of getting into my heart. So I'm so happy that we connected on that music. That's so cool.
It's what music does. We can always find something within someone, especially with music, and that's why it's the universal language. It really is. Yeah. You can connect with anyone around the world because of music, and I think if we all talked about it more, dealt with it more, why we love it, I think we'd all be a happier place, because it's that same thing that I've said here 1,000 times. I'm sorry, people, that you heard it. When you go to a show, no one there is a stranger. They're just friends you haven't met yet.
Yes.
That's because you're all there for the same thing. You're all there for the same reason, and you're all there for everything. And that's what I find so interesting, and why I think it's so amazing of what music can do to just the simplest most common people and the richest and most brilliant people, you can all come together when you're sitting, probably not in a press box at MSG or something, but you can all come together because of the music itself. And that's what's awesome.
Yeah, it's unity. It really is. And that's what I like to trip on in life is, I'm a Zen student and of course, that teaching, the cliche is, where it's all about oneness, but like it really is about that. It's really about how we are, we are not separated. We are this one human organism. And when music happens, it tunes us all in together. And there we are, just like existing and experiencing and hearts wide open and those grains of sand that you described moving, like music moves that. It moves it. And that is powerful. Like that is magic. And I'm here for it, and so are you. And I'm really grateful to be able to talk to you about it and with your passion, and also at such length so we can go in depth because so many interviews are just a few minutes long. So it's so nice to be able to hear really how deep you go and how much you love it, because I can't imagine the world without the dimension of music. It would be so bleak to me.
It would be.
Yeah.
And we just touched on where we connected over something that probably no one would have thought we could have ever connected on, right? Over some Icelandic rock that a lot of people may not know. Now, is there something else in your life that you get a lot of enjoyment out of that people would be very surprised you get enjoyment out of a certain type of music?
Yes. When I run to Rage Against the Machine. Nice. And Run DMC and Flow Rida. I'm like, I tend to be, I have a real hardcore side to me, as well, that I love. And it's funny because the music I make, it sounds, like beautiful and lush but there is a grit and a sort of like an industrial kind of, if it's not gritty, it's not pretty to me. Like it has to have that.
I like that.
Yeah, that like graffiti and hubcaps and like, ashtrays and it has to feel like somewhere in the distance, there's the tragedy and the comedy and the horror and the beauty. Like it has to encompass everything. And so, so the music that I listen to, it's quite varied. So that would be it. And I have some guilty pleasures as well, like, hang on, I'm just opening up my running list here. I'm just going to embarrass myself entirely because like I love running so much. It gives me everything.
We remove the guilty from it. They're just pleasures now. Like we don't,
right? I mean, agreed. I don't like using those words in the same sentence, but like here I am looking at my running list and I've got Toto on here. I've got Africa on here, and that's a great song to run to.
It's a fantastic song.
It's a fantastic song, absolutely. So, no, it's all really good. Actually, this is a great list. Never mind. I'm not embarrassed about anything.
Well, here's a question I'm going to ask you. As being a mother of 3 girls, right? What is it they're listening to that you can't stand?
Okay, here goes. Okay, there's this new country situation that's happening that is so auto-tuned and so formula that it actually, when they put it on, I know they're mad at me. Like, we'll be on the way to school and they'll just crank this shit. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, what did I do that you're putting this on right now? And so, and I won't name any names, but
no, I understand.
Like, it's just like, it doesn't touch me. But you know what? Here's the thing. A lot of people enjoy it. And so many of the kids enjoy it. And
I'm surprised.
It just sounds like it was written on a Nashville conveyor belt, like so much great music comes out of Nashville. So I'm definitely not knocking Nashville. I love it there. I love the music that comes out of there. But there's also this other like hit factory situation that I don't know. And I'm just like,
there's a laboratory where they pump out this pop. I just call it, and listen, the word pop, as I've explained, Pop just means
Yeah.
accessible. It means
Yeah.
your dad, your sister, your child, like you can listen to it. That's what pop means. But it is, you said it, it's a factory. It's a conveyor belt. It's a factory line, and it's just here you go. And I don't understand it. And I understand a lot about music. And I don't get it. I don't get how it hits someone's ears and they go, yes.
Yeah. And yet my kids, who are very, like, they have incredible access to music, and they listen to, like, my girls they'll throw on Buddy Holly. Like, they'll throw on, like, it's amazing the music that they're listening to. And I'm so proud of them for their musical taste. And then yet when they just want to, like, open the car window, roll it down, feel the air, they want to throw on this stuff, and they get a lot of joy. So there's something there. There's something there that I'm missing. So I don't want to knock it, but I just don't get it. And, like, I'm with you. And yeah. So, I mean, but country music, I mean, come on, give me Willie, give me Hank, give me Patsy, give me, like, that's country music to me.
Yeah. I call that punk country.
Punk country. I love that. Yes.
They were punk country.
Oh yeah, totally. Rebels and pioneers. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that when your children are mad at you, because I just have the opportunity to just turn it off if it ever comes on. So.
Yeah, see, some kids slam doors, my kids crank the country music. So they know how to get to me.
Yeah, I'd rather buy new doors every week.
Right? Oh goodness.
All right. So if the world was going to end in 5 minutes, a meteor's coming to crash in the earth, 5 minutes, and you have to listen to one song. What one song do you turn on?
Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was fast. I think you just broke the record for the fastest that's ever been answered on the show.
Oh, that song. So brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I sing it. I listen to it on the regular. I do have my favorite albums, like Acadie by Daniel Lanois, to me is like top desert island record. The Passion by Peter Gabriel. I love, The Mission by Ennio Morricone. Like, these albums are just, like, such a part of the fiber of my being. But that song, Comfortably Numb, for me is just, it's a masterpiece. And it hit me at the right time as a teenager and changed my life and changed the way I saw everything and changed how I write music and how I hear music and how I feel things entirely. So yeah, that's the one. I would crank it on. I would sing it at the top of my lungs and wait for the meteor.
I love that. That's unbelievable. That I'm just sitting here in awe that you answered it so fast and you're ready to go.
Yay! Well, I've had a sufficient amount of coffee, so. No, that was a no-brainer. That was a great question and no-brainer. Yeah.
So you got a lot coming up with the book release, the album release, and you've done this for a long time, the touring, the creating music. What is it that you find that keeps you going, that makes you say, I want to do this, I want to go write another song, I want to keep going out and performing, when you have all these other things and all these accolades under your belt? I mean, you also have the band Shay that you're a part of. So to me, sometimes you talked about that breakdown point, right, on tour. What keeps you going, and what have you found that's made it easier to continue to moving forward?
Well, I would say, I keep moving forward because I want to continuously unfold as a person, and I want to keep expressing myself fully, and I want to share it. I'm an extrovert. I think I don't really know. Like, I mean, I obviously you have to be an introvert to write songs, because you have to spend a certain amount of time alone. But I thrive on human connection. Without it, I just wilt. Like a flower without sunshine. I need people, and the opportunity to create music. Also, I mean, I have to create music. I can't keep it in me. Like, I'm not a container that can hold it in. Like, it just flows out of me. And if I get to share that, like, that's when the song is complete, right? When it's just me in my room with my song, it's one thing. But as soon as I share it with another person, the art is complete. The work is complete because it's it's been shared, it's been accepted, it's been absorbed, and I feel successful. I feel like I've done what my purpose is. My entire purpose is to connect. And so to be able to get out there, especially on a global level, especially with now a book and a new record, and to be able to connect with people, that's what keeps me going. Like that's what keeps me so excited is I just want to see people. And if you talk to anybody, like any fan from the 90s, early 2000s that met me, my favorite part was getting off the stage at the end and just sitting with people and being with people. So, it's one thing, again, to get up and sing. It's a whole other thing to be able to listen then back to how, the music has affected people. That's my favorite part. I just want to know that I've touched people in a way that makes them feel like they're not alone.
Well, you have touched people, and you're going to touch even more people once this book gets into people's hands, and the album that goes along with it. I think, again, I'm excited to be on the front of this and have had the great opportunity to start reading the book prior to its release and listen to your music. And first, I just want to say thank you for the artist that you are and for sharing your story with us and with now the world with this book that you're putting out there, because it takes a lot. And I don't think people truly understand what it takes to do what it is you just did and put everything about you out for the world to not only enjoy, but also for the assholes out there critique. So
yeah, but if it's not for them, it's not for them, right? Like if they don't like it, that's fine. It is hard, definitely, to put something out so vulnerable and have people not like it or not connect with it. But I'm just at a point, I think, in my development as a person, and also I've played thousands of shows and I've read thousands of reviews, and not everyone is going to get it, and that's great. There's something out there for everybody, and but the people that I do touch, thank you for saying that, and I really hope you like the rest of the book, and I really really grateful for the opportunity to share again at such a deep level and talk about real stuff, because it's juicy. This is a juicy podcast. I love it.
Before we move on to our last segment, when we do publish this episode, we will be pushing out all your handles and everything. But right now, I'd like you to take the time to tell everyone how to find what Tara is doing.
Sorry, how to find me?
Yeah, how to find all your stuff.
Well,
all your handles and websites and stuff that you have, the Grams, the Facebooks, the Twitters, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. Well, I would just say go to TaraMacLeanMusic.com, and it has everything on there. It has all my handles there, all the little buttons to take you where you want to go. And I have an amazing team, incredible publicists, incredible social media, amazing management. I'm so lucky that I have this world-class situation around me that is holding me in this time. And they have done such a beautiful job of with my website and with everything. So please visit it. And, there's also archival stuff, because I'm what's called, and I'm doing air quotes right now, a legacy artist. So, and so there's lots of really fun old footage and, just me getting up to crazy hijinks. So if you really want to go down the rabbit hole of me, it's all there at TaraMacLeanMusic.com.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's sad to say, but right when something hits 25 years old, it's considered an antique. So
yes, I'm vintage,
you've been doing
baby.
this. Yeah, you're vintage now.
Yeah, I love it. Oh,
well, we thank you. We look forward to seeing what you do from here on out, because I'm excited for people to get to see and read and hear everything that you've just accomplished. It's a great feat. So I want to say thank you again for that. Before we move on to our weekly threes segment, where we would like you to share 3 things that you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out.
Okay. Let me think about that. 3 things I'm listening to right now. Gosh, so much of what I listen to is older stuff.
That's fine.
But I do have a playlist called New Beginnings that I really love. And I'm a massive fan of Novo Amor, who is a Welsh artist that I'm obsessed with, and he's an amazing record. So I love that one. I came across this great song called Scarlet by Holly Humberstone. And that's like, it's just the kind of song you put on when you just want to like dance around the kitchen and feel really free.
I actually know that song.
Yeah.
Because it has popped up for me.
Oh, it's great. It's a great song. And yeah, just, I'm also a really big fan of, do you know Bahamas?
Yes, I do know Bahamas.
Yeah. So that's on this playlist as well. Lost in the Light, such a great song. I listen to music constantly, but I would just say off the top of my head, those are the three that are kicking around the most.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good three. My turn for my three.
Okay.
This week, my first one is a band called Greywind, Greywind. The name of the album is called Afterthoughts. They're an Irish, I just say rock band. Female lead vocal is just that beautiful female voice with rock music behind it that I just can't get enough of. Awesome. Number two is an artist called Heartline. That's Hartline. There's an EP called Run Wild, Philly indie rock. I'll throw it in there because we have to label so people kind of know what they're getting into. And last but not least is a band called Morningsiders. They're a New York City folk rock band. The name of the album is I've Got a Song. So those are my three for this week.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to listen. Thank you.
You're welcome. But again, I don't need to say it anymore, but I will. Tara, thank you so much for spending your time with us. Thank you so much for giving your soul out for the world to see. And I'm excited to see all the responses that come back from people reading your book and listening to the album that's going along with it. So, and the name of the book again is Song of the Sparrow, and the album is called Sparrow. So everyone will be on the lookout.
Yes. Thank you so much. I've absolutely loved this conversation and can't wait to do more someday, I hope.
Awesome. Well, me too. And everybody, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Tara MacLellan, and have a great fucking time.
Woo!
Spent my life looking for a missing piece, desperate for some release. I heard a call from deep inside. I was lonely, I was tired, I was empty, uninspired. I hit a wall. Something held me, showed me to myself. Spent last night looking for you in my bed, but you left before I said that you could go. Scream and shout till I'm pity partied out. It's looking more like I'm about to be alone. Something changed me, saved me from myself. It's the arrow in the bow, the sparrow and the song, the marrow in the bone. Nothing's unforgivable
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.